We did it. Cardinal Territory fam. The St. Louis Cardinals 2025 season has officially come to an end. And fittingly, we discuss it on episode number 100 of this show. What a ride it's been with you all this year. And I'm just so thankful to all of you that have subscribed, watched episodes, kept up to date with the show. It's been super fun to do this with you all. And I'm really thankful for it. So thank you. But we'll save the semantics for another time. We're not going to get emotional today. No, not at all. On game 162, the Chicago Cubs shut out the St. Louis Cardinals 2-0 to sweep them. The Cardinals finished with a 78-84 record. They were not eliminated until game number 159. They exceeded expectations, yet also were disappointing, which doesn't make a lot of sense. But I think those sentiments mainly come down to if a couple of things had gone their way or went a little differently, maybe they sneak their way into the playoffs. And I think that's especially true when you think about that bad stretch of 2 to 3 weeks heading into the trade deadline. But this team also held their own after that, especially the bullpen, my MVP area of the roster. What really sidetracked this team, obviously it's hard to overcome trading away your best 3 relievers, but they did that. What really sidetracked this team in the second half was the key players getting hurt. No Nolan Arenado and no Brendan Donovan in August was brutal for this team. You add in missing Alec Willson for a period of time, Willson Contreras, Mason Wynn not being 100%. Like that's exactly what Ollie Marmol pointed to after this game about what really was hard for this team. But Ollie did say, and this is something I really do agree with, honestly, that he liked the style of play all season long from this team. This St. Louis Cardinals team was a gritty ball club. Now, hear me out. That was not always reflected in the box score and certainly not in the overall record. But the way the Cardinals played through these games, even when they were overmatched in talent, which did happen a lot. I mean, they had 39 comeback wins. That doesn't happen by accident. Even this week, like think about 2 games this week that stick out to me. They had that 6-run rally against the Giants to stave off elimination for a day. And then Saturday, they're trailing by 4 in the 9th, and they load the bases, bring the tying run to the plate. Don't worry, we're not going to talk about the intentional walk. We're not talking about that. But those are 2 examples of just how gritty this baseball team was. And I'm not here for moral victories. Fans certainly aren't either. But when you're looking to build a culture, having a core that is as determined as this Cardinals team was this year, in spite of all of the things pointing for them not to be, that's at least encouraging heading into what will be a very busy offseason in St. Louis. So I guess what I'm trying to say with my very long opening monologue is no one should be happy with a second losing season in 3 years. No one should be happy missing the playoffs for a 3rd straight season. No one should be happy with a losing record. But the design this year was not about wins and losses, as we know. It was about building towards the future. The Cardinals can go out and build and develop better players. They can go out, buy, trade, get some different acquisitions. You can't teach a bunch of players who were really, this roster was designed to not compete with a lot of teams. You can't teach that kind of mentality unless you have total buy-in from this team. And they knew what they were facing. They knew what the messaging was. They knew this was a transition year, whatever. And they still dug in and showed some real competitive baseball. That's a testament to the players. That's a testament to the coaches. And it gives me a little bit of faith going forward that this is a group that you might not be able to build completely around, but there are some key pieces here that will be helpful as the Cardinals begin their rebuild, which should start to take place in less than 48 hours. Let's talk about it, starting with Kyle Leahy, the first significant change heading into next year, and also our DraftKings player to watch starting in spring training come February, but bear with me. All right, let's break it down. We'll be right back. All right, our DraftKings player to watch segment is Kyle Leahy. Let me get the overlay up there. There we go. Kyle Leahy was the starting pitcher for today's designated bullpen game. That was by design. He threw 3 scoreless innings, struck out 1, did not walk a batter, gave up 1 single, and then promptly erased it with a 4-6-3 double play in the 3rd. Threw 39 pitches, so super efficient. He was Kyle Leahy, okay? The only thing that was different was that he was doing this to start a game instead of in the 6th or 7th or 8th inning. Again, that is on purpose because Kyle Leahy will be a starting pitcher, or at least, he will report to spring training with the ability to compete for a spot in the starting rotation next year. And this is something that if we watch the show a lot or you read on The Athletic, isn't a total surprise because this has always been floated around throughout the season as a possibility for the Cardinals and for Leahy next year. But now it's official. The Cardinals wanted him to take this start today just so he could see what it was like to prep for a start, get behind that routine. It makes a lot of sense. Like, this game didn't mean anything for either team. Cardinals are eliminated. Cubs have clinched postseason or home advantage in their postseason bracket. So this is the perfect time for the Cardinals to just say, hey, Leahy, you've been a stud for us all year, arguably our most consistent reliever. We want to see if you can start next year. Let's just give you a chance to prep, go through the routine like you were a starter so that you have a little bit of a foundation going into next season. And Kyle Leahy did an exceptional job with it. You look at the overall skill set. Let's start there with Kyle Leahy. 6-pitch arsenal, wipeout stuff. He's super efficient as advertised by his usage today. The trick for him is going to be if he can repeat that stuff through multiple times through the lineup, I should say. He didn't get a chance to do that, obviously, because they're not going to have him throw more than 40 pitches. I mean, he threw 88 innings in relief this year. That's the most in the National League by a lot. But I like this. I really like this for the Cardinals. One, because I think Leahy can handle it. He doesn't talk much. If you guys ever see his post-game interviews, I wouldn't say he is like the most social butterfly of them all, but he is super smart. And I had a person in the organization tell me this. Kyle Leahy's give a shit meter is off the charts. He's super stoic, doesn't express, like, pretty expressionless, but really cares. And that was evident in how he approached this whole season. So talking to Kyle after the game, he said what you'd expect him to say, that he's excited for this opportunity, but he's going to take the ball no matter when he's asked. You know, if it's the first inning or the seventh, he's going to do it. But the Cardinals, moving on to what they need from their organization, could not be more dire. Like, the starting pitching situation could not be more dire heading into next year. It is so important for them to see if they have anything internally very similar to how they approached, almost exactly similar actually, to how they approached Matthew Liberatore in the spring. Because, stop me if you've heard this before, they'd have zero depth. Miles Mikolas is a free agent, and I say what you want about Miles Mikolas. I know maybe not the most effective pitcher in the world, but a good Cardinal for the last 8 years and made 30-plus starts again for the 4th straight season. Okay, durability is a priceless trait in the game. So they're losing 30 guaranteed starts from a starter. We have no idea what Sonny Gray's future is, but I would be very surprised if he's with the Cardinals next year. I think the Cardinals will look to trade him. I think that's pretty much what he wants. So that's 2. He also made 30-plus starts this year. That's 60 starts you just took off the table. That means your 3 guaranteed starters next year. Liberatore, who made 29 starts, did excellent in terms of what they were looking for him to do. Still plenty to build on, but like a quality number 4 guy. Michael McGreevy, same kind of boat as Libby, right there in the middle of the rotation. And Andre Pallante, who struggled this year and has work to do if he wants to be a viable rotation option next year. So that's 3 options if we're being generous, 2.5 if we're being real. And no baseball team can get through 162 games with 2.5 starting pitchers. So very, very important for the Cardinals to see if they have something in Kyle Leahy. Because while there are arms in AAA, Quinn Matthews is exciting. Liam Doyle, obviously very exciting. Chaim Bloom is not going to rush pitching development for the expense of benefiting the major league team. That's just not what he's done. That's not what he's done in Tampa. That's not what he did with Boston. And that's not what the Cardinals should do now. So find out what you have internally. Maybe you find out something that you didn't know you had in Kyle Leahy. I think all the signs are there where this is going to be a successful move for them. So let's see, come Jupiter in February, where things shake out. And a quick thing before we move on to our next segment, it is unbelievably impressive, remarkably impressive that the St. Louis Cardinals had all 5 of their pitchers stay off the injured list. We'll throw in Eric Fetty in there as well, so 6. John King, the only pitcher that went on the IL in totality. They had all 5 of their guys that finished the season, so Sonny, Miles, Pallante, Libby, McGreevy, made at least 29 starts. That is unheard of in this day and age of this game, and the health of the Cardinals medical team, the Cardinals training staff, pitching coach Dusty Blake, Ollie Marmol deserve a ton of credit for keeping those guys healthy. I mean, that is a crazy stat. Does not negate how important it is to go get more pitching depth, however, which I expect will be somewhat addressed over the offseason, and we'll get to that. All right, that's our DraftKings player spotlight. Kyle Leahy, spotlight is on you come pitchers and catchers in February. You can download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and grab $300 in bonus bets with just a $5 bet when we go live December 1st in partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook. Play a quick ad read. We'll get right back to it.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 18 and over. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Void where prohibited. New customers only. Minimum $5 deposit. Bonus picks expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
All right, quick message from DraftKings, another one, and then we'll break down some Willson Contreras things. Missouri, get ready. The wait is almost over. DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is coming soon to the Show Me State. New Missouri customers can download the DraftKings Sportsbook app today, and when we go live, place just a $5 bet to unlock $300 in bonus bets. Starting November 17th, you can create your DraftKings Sportsbook account in Missouri and get ready for launch day on December 1st. DraftKings Sportsbook brings everything you need to elevate your game day, including live in-game betting, lightning-fast payouts, and endless ways to get in on the action, all right from your phone. And when we officially go live in Missouri, you'll be betting with the Sportsbook app trusted by millions. Safe, secure, and has fast money withdrawals. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and grab $300 in bonus bets with just a $5 bet when we go live December 1st in partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 and over. Physically present in Missouri. Eligibility restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Excludes customers who redeem pre-launch sign-up offer. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos.
Okay, so I'm just now realizing I didn't actually need to play the disclaimer twice. So that's my bad. I'm sorry. All right. Oh, did I even put up this banner? I didn't. Dang, I really messed that segment up. Whatever. Willson Contreras, let's move on to him. In our last episode, we discussed the futures of Nolan Arenado and Sonny Gray. We had not yet spoken to Contreras about his future. That changed. He spoke to reporters at Wrigley Field on Saturday after speaking with Chaim Bloom, who was also at Wrigley Field this weekend, on Friday. Willson Contreras would prefer to stay in St. Louis. He wants to be a part of this rebuild process. But he is, if something opens up where it would benefit both him and the team, open to at least exploring what that looks like. So a little bit more detail you can find on The Athletic. Yes, I did it right this time. We talked to Willson, and he was as Willson Contreras as it gets. He was super honest about where he feels. He said he likes challenges. He wants to be part of the process. He understands that the focus going forward is going to be a little bit on player development. And and this is a theme that we've heard from a lot of different players who have had conversations with Chaim Bloom already. He praised the transparency from Chaim about the direction of this franchise. And I think fans will actually get a chance to hear that themselves on Tuesday. We'll have more about that later in the show. But for Contreras, I'll just go ahead and read a couple of quotes on what he's thinking, because he has 2 years remaining on his deal, owed about $36 million, 36.5, not including a $5 million buyout that the club has at the end of the 2027 season. So a significant amount of money still on that contract, but nothing like super egregious given what Contreras does and what he produces. Here's what Contreras said to us about his conversation with Chaim Bloom. He said, "I told him I'd like to be a part of the process. I'd like to be a part of a young team that's going to need to have some kind of experience around them. That's what I expressed. Bloom understood that I want to be a part of this process, but I also understand that this is part of the business." Then we asked him if something opened up that made sense for him and the team, would he consider it? And he said, "If something comes up and makes a lot of sense for Bloom and the organization and makes sense for me and my future, then we'll talk about that. But as of right now, like I said, I would like to be a part of the process." So we asked him to elaborate, because when Contreras, just like Arenado, just like Sonny Gray, came to St. Louis, it was about being a part of a winning organization and in the postseason and all the stuff that we thought we were going to see and didn't. And this is where the "I like challenges" quote comes from that you see here in the headline. Contreras says, "I know the Cardinals have a track record of winning and being a winning team. I know that right now we don't have a winning team, but I know we have talent here. Everything starts in the minors. I understand that. It might take 3 to 5 years to be a playoff team or contend for a World Series. Even if I'm no longer here, I still feel like I could be a part of that because I help the young guys." He went on to say, "It's a weird situation right now because we aren't winning, but I'm not concerned about my future. I'm not concerned about anything else besides the Cardinals because I signed here and this is the place I wanted to be. It's still the same way." So I would be surprised if Willson Contreras is traded this offseason. It's not a for sure no, or things could change. But I think the likelihood of players being traded remains Arenado 1, Gray 2, and then a significant gap before Contreras at 3. Would that complicate things for the roster? I think that's a common argument in terms of reducing the redundancy. As currently constructed, yes. But let me tell you something. This is not the same roster that we're going to see, okay? I will have an off-season primer on The Athletic after a couple days of hibernation where we break down all of the different deadlines. But roster is going to be revamped. You got a non-tender deadline coming up in November. I would imagine a lot of 40-man roster moves are made. You have some positional redundancies, specifically with your lefties. And if you have this group, let's take this group of 4. I'll leave Victor Scott II out of here because this doesn't really apply to him. It's a different position. Of the 4 lefties that are kind of caught in this position logjam, Brendan Donovan, Lars Nootbaar, Alec Burleson, Nolan Gorman. 2 of those 4 lefties, in my opinion, are going to be traded over the offseason. Because you have to eliminate this roster logjam, this roster redundancy. I don't know which of the 2 lefties are going to go, but I would be very, very surprised if all 4 are back. That's not happening. I'd be very, very surprised if 3 out of the 4 are back. Again, I don't know which ones are more likely to go than others. Things will play into this: contract status, RBers, money made. Like, those are all organization decisions. Some of them ownership, some of them front office. It will also depend on who can get them the best return package, because this is what a rebuild is. Again, I will preface that this is not a teardown, and the word rebuild has this like negative aura. I get it, because most teams that rebuild completely tear down. This is like, by definition, a rebuild, but not nearly to that degree that we might think when we hear that word. So if the goal here is to find prospects and find players that are going to expedite this rebuild, you're going to trade the players that can give you the best return. I don't know, out of Donovan, Nootbaar, Burleson, and Gorman, who those 2 are, but that would be how the Cardinals can keep Willson Contreras and also not further clog up their roster. So, like I said, as advertising, going to be a lot of busy news over this offseason. So whatever we experienced last year, remember when we started the show and we had the same episode, 20 episodes in a row because they didn't do anything? I would not expect that to be the same. The show will continue in the off season, by the way. We just won't do it as often, probably 2 times a week, if that. And then when I'm on PTO, you won't hear from me. Sorry. All right. We will hear from our sponsors at Superpower, and then we'll get right back to it.
FT fam, Superpower believes that every human has 100-year potential, and they're going to help you get there. I like the sweatshirt, Eric Kratz, and I also love the way that Superpower takes care of its members.
Yeah. You go get your lab test. You become the best you. You be a member of this group, and your test will come back. It's unlocking things that you didn't know about yourself. This is stuff that players used all the time. You can do it now too.
Exactly, Kratz. How many of you have gone to a doctor's appointment? You get the classic, oh, you're fine, or just drink more water. No real data, no real game plan. With one simple blood draw with Superpower and over 100 biomarkers, that is way more than what you'd usually get, and it unlocks so much more about your own body. Head to superpower.com to learn more and lock in the special $199 price while it lasts. After you sign up, they'll ask you how you heard about them. Please make sure to mention the FT podcast to support the show. Your biology decoded, your blueprint activated with Superpower.
I'm going to need that because this season took years off my lifestyle. I know that. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, the Chaim Bloom era is about to begin. Seismic changes in the Cardinals baseball operations are on deck. President of Baseball Operations, John Mozeliak, will address the media tomorrow, Monday, from Busch Stadium for his annual end-of-the-year press conference when he will effectively wrap up his tenure. He's still under contract through October, but starting Tuesday, baseball decisions will be delegated to Chaim Bloom, and he is expected to address the media and do an introductory press conference on Tuesday, also from Busch Stadium. So happy offseason to us. We're going to get right into it. I will obviously be there to cover both press conferences. I'm interested to see what Mo has to say in his final presser, mainly because I want to see what he thought about this transition season and if this roster actually accomplished the questions or answered the questions that they set out to, and his thoughts about finishing just a few games out of the playoffs. That's interesting to me. It should not be Chaim Bloom that is answering the questions about what happened this year. it should be and it will be Chaim Bloom answering all the questions about what's going to happen in the weeks to months to come. I believe ownership is scheduled to attend that press conference as well, meaning Bill DeWitt Jr. and Bill DeWitt III. That has not been formalized. That's my understanding that is on the table. However, that is not yet for certain. They do, I will commend them for this, usually come to those press conferences and make themselves available for the media. That certainly doesn't happen in every market, so we do appreciate that when it does happen. But I'm super excited, Cardinals fans, for you to finally get some clarity and some answers as to what your team is going to look like going forward. What can we reasonably expect this to look like? What's the plan to make some changes? All of that good stuff. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what that's going to look like and how these next couple of days go. And then we'll see how it goes from there. But yeah, mark your calendars, some busy, newsy things. We'll have more clarity on the futures of some players, the coaching staff, manager Ollie Marmol's status. All of that should be answered in the next week or so. So hang in with me at The Athletic. Hang out with us here on Cardinal Territory, Foul Territory. Thank you for rocking with me for a whole season. I really love what I do, and it's because of the people I interact with. And that definitely applies to the Cardinal Territory podcast family. So thanks as always. We'll be back to break things down after the press conferences next week. Stay tuned. Talk to you later.